boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's just with Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lens. And man, oh man, boys and girls, I love me some video games out there. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of first-person shooters, mostly because I just haven't had the time to play online with a lot of my friends, but I enjoy their storylines, and when I do get a chance to play with friends out there, it's always a big blast out there. And obviously, Call of Duty has kind of been in the tank for a little while. A lot of the fans haven't been super happy about it. General FPS fans have just been kind of abandoning it, and it seems like they just kind of continue to try to turn it more into Fortnite over and over and over again with all of the kind of mixes and stuff that's been going on. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, all of that seems to have been cured for a lot of first-person shooter fans out there because Battlefield 6 had crazy, insane hype going from the trailer. It took shots at Call of Duty in their trailer, which was absolutely hilarious and was spot on. It seemed like something that was a return to form, going back to the minimalistic idea and not just having a bunch of Hollywood famous faces in your trailer in order to try to sell games. They're going back to basics, and it looks like it has turned out to be an absolute smashing success. I know, strange concept at the end of the day. Guys that liked first-person shooter games out there with all of their military themes and feeling accurate to the world that they know and are aware of actually ends up being a success. And having Peter Griffin from Family Guy join your online multiplayer really only ends up working out in Fortnite. And boys and girls, the evidence is astounding. Because as you can see over here from the headline at VG247, Battlefield 6 shoots up the Steam charts, beats its beta figures to become the biggest Battlefield ever, and people aren't raging for once. Nobody's mad. Everybody seems generally happy with this game. The Steam ratings are great. Everybody seems to be pretty happy. The numbers are absolutely crushing it out here. I mean, you've got a 75% ratio for 65,000 reviews. That ain't too shabby at all. Right now, at the time of this recording, it's a Monday afternoon with almost 550,000 people playing, and the peaks have been absolutely insane, boys and girls. So we're going to share this article. We're going to get into all the juicy details of exactly what these numbers mean and what they mean in context compared to other video games, as well as their main competitor out there, Call of Duty. But before we do, duty. If you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,200. We're sailing our way towards 23. I think we're sitting at like 2291 on our journey to 100,000, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Are you one of the hundreds of thousands, almost a million people out there that played Battlefield 6 over the weekend? What did you think of it? Have you enjoyed it? Are you ready to jump back in and play with more fans? What did you think of the one major criticism from all of the trade magazines out there about the main story kind of quest being just a little too short? I mean, because at the end of the day, let's all be honest. Nobody cares about the main storyline for FPSs out there. It's all about the online play. So do you agree with the critics and you absolutely can't stand this game because of the lack of the main story out there? Or are you all about that online play and been having an absolute blast? Let us know about all that in the comment section down below, because all opinions are welcome. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, boys and girls, from Sheriff Saeed over here at VG247. The launch of Battlefield 6 has been one of the series' best by almost every possible metric, and Steam players are actually happy. Battlefield 6 officially arrived on Friday across PC and current-gen platforms. The highly anticipated launch has had some question marks hanging over it, but those quickly dissipated as soon as the servers went live. For one, this is easily the biggest launch for a Battlefield game, at least on Steam, which may well be the game's biggest single platform. But things are even more interesting than they appear, and that's one of the things out there. Steam is by and far, unarguably, the largest platform on the planet out there, right? PlayStation and Xbox don't even come close to holding its numbers. Why? Because anybody with a PC can have a Steam account out there. You know what I mean? So it's one of them situations where if the numbers look amazing on Steam, then you know they look good across the board for Xbox and PlayStation as well. It's the same thing with things that flop and fail. If it's not doing well on Steam, you can bet your bottom dollar it's not going to be doing well on Xbox or PlayStation either, boys and girls. The Battlefield 6 beta already broke series' records on Steam, having been incredibly successful and very well received. The August energy carried over to launch, with the full version now officially surpassing even that. On Friday, just as EA started letting players in, the game quickly shot up to Steam's most played charts. According to SteamDB, its peak current count was a whopping 747,440. And as you can see, that's exactly what we've got right here. And SteamDB is the most accurate numbers we can get for all of this kind of stuff out there. It's our industry standard anyway for this kind of stuff. Though the peak concurrents have expectedly dropped since then, yeah, duh, that's what always happens. The game remains in the top 5 most played games on Steam. As of this writing, with over 227,000 players currently in game. A lot of that, of course, is fueled by Battlefield 6's excellent sales performance on Steam, which it currently occupies the #1 spot, having spent 10 weeks in the top 100. Can Call of Duty say that? Can Dragon Age Veilguard say that? Can Star Wars Outlaws say that? Can Assassin's Creed Shadows say that? Nope. Nope, boys and girls, they sure can't. But Battlefield can. And the best part is we talked about this at the beginning here too, but just to show you off once again, right now, the last 24-hour peak was 656,000 players. So that means like basically the Sunday numbers over the weekend. Right now, 548,000 right now on a Monday afternoon, boys and girls. That's nuts. That's nuts. Although the launch was incredibly smooth by Battlefield standards, there has been no major apologies by EA leadership. For instance, it did have some problems. On Steam, some players ran into a game not released error message when attempting to download the game. You know, it's one of them situations where like that, I mean, it's a glitch. Okay. Not a big deal. Check your clock settings. Check to see if you're using a VPN or not as well. But this was obviously reported across the board enough that this was an issue, and they should have addressed it. EA offered a workaround that involved removing certain packages from the download, which seems to have taken care of the issue. The biggest fumble, however, ironically happened on EA's own app, where some of the players who pre-ordered Battlefield 6 couldn't access the game at all. That was due to an outage, apparently, which EA has since fixed. Obviously, you wouldn't be getting Steam numbers like this if it hasn't been fixed. The company's response, however, is what garnered some praise. The publisher is gifting all affected players 12 60-minute player XP tokens and another 12 for hardware, weapons, vehicles, and experience. EA is also giving those players 1 season's battle pass for free. This is how you do it, boys and girls. And EA just got bought not too long ago, whole cloth, by Donald Trump's son-in-law, boys and girls. So yeah, looks like they're making gaming great after all, because that is customer service, boys and girls. That could be the first season's battle pass if the affected players owns the standard edition of the game, or the season 2 pass if they own the Phantom edition instead, which already includes a battle pass token. So, like, literally, if you bought the fancy version of the game, you now get 2 seasons. The second one, you're not going to have to pay for. That's customer service, boys and girls. And something becomes less and less common for major launches on Steam. Battlefield 6 Steam user reviews are actually positive. The game's current overall ratings is very positive based on 29,563 reviews. Obviously, that has changed a little bit since he was writing this article. The reviews have actually doubled, and we now have a 75% rating out there. As to what everybody's complaining about, God only knows, but it's the internet, boys and girls. Everybody's going to end up complaining about something. Needless to say, we're here to just document the not disastrous dumpster fire. We're here to document the absolute insane success of EA's Battlefield 6, boys and girls. And 82% of the reviews are in English have been positive, which is a far cry from the likes of Borderlands 4, for instance, which has been sitting at mixed ratings since launch, with a far more negative reviews. And honestly, an 82% drop only down to, what do we got now? A 75% essentially ain't that bad. You're talking 7 points. Not exactly a huge, massive fallout. EA is yet to release official statement on the game's launch to offer any hard numbers, which is likely being prepared as we speak. If you're among the millions who jumped in over the weekend, make sure you're not leaving those crucial Battlefield 6 settings at their default values. And if you're looking for a bit of light reading, our Battlefield 6 gameplay tips offer a wealth of information. So shout out to VG247. If you're a Battlefield player right now and you want even more tips and tricks, go check out their stuff. But this is awesome. And I'm not saying that Battlefield's success is credit to the new owners or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, this game has been in development for years. But what it does seem to be is a trend that we have seen in the game industry over the last few years of everybody chasing this new modern audience out there, trying to interject all of their identity politics into stuff out there and just all of the rest of the BS we've seen. I mean, the massive failures over the last few years have just been abysmal. I'm a Saints Row fan, and that garbage reboot out there was just absolute trash, despite the fact that it was full with activist messaging. It was a broken and buggy mess from the get-go. Star Wars Outlaws was like that. Another activist game out there, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows flopped. Dragon Age Veilguard practically destroyed the entire franchise out there. What does the team behind Battlefield say? We've seen what Call of Duty's been doing. We've seen what all the fans have thought about that. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to get back to basics. Our marketing is going to be all about returning to form. We're going to bash Call of Duty and all the Hollywood nonsense garbage they got involved in, and we're going to go back to giving true, proper video game adaptations, some good, proper FPS. It's just a little bit of war that you got to adapt. It's not rocket science. And you know who's never going to see themselves in the middle of a war zone? Zac Efron or any of the rest of those Hollywood psychopaths that Call of Duty decided to thought was going to be a good idea for marketing. You know what Battlefield said? Hold my M4 and watch this, because I'm going to show you how it's done, Bubba. Because at the end of the day, the audiences have never changed. Gamers have not changed, and fans of first-person shooters have certainly not either. At the end of the day, they want great online gameplay with a bunch of really cool maps and not a bunch of nonsense and garbage and skins that come in the game that make them feel like Fortnite. If they wanted to play Fortnite, Call of Duty, they'd be playing Fortnite. But instead, you decided to buy off on all the nonsense and all the garbage and go with all the new, hot, trendy things. And now Battlefield 6 has come for your lunch, eaten it, is now sitting on your throne, and all of the fans that you have lost have flocked to Battlefield 6 and has now made it one of the most successful first-person shooter launches on Steam ever, and the most successful Battlefield launch in the history of Steam sales and chart numbers. Boys and girls, Battlefield 6 understood what their fan base wanted, what their customers wanted. It made the fans happy, and now they have gotten exactly what they deserve. Massive amounts of success, and all we're waiting for at this point is the official numbers for EA, because I guarantee you, this thing has sold a lot better than Call of Duty and all of the rest of the disastrous dumpster fires that we've documented over the last few years. So shout out to Battlefield 6, because you've clearly made the fans happy, and now you've got exactly what you deserve. Massive success. Enjoy it and keep making the fans happy, and you will destroy Call of Duty's relevance. But at the end of the day, the decision will be up to you, and I'm just glad the fans are so happy with Battlefield 6. A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.